Crypto Guy here. How are you doing this morning? Excellent. Today we're going to be talking about exchanges and which exchanges are best to use in the United States, since that's probably my primary audience and that's where I'm from. That's what we're going to talk about. So, how do you choose an exchange and which exchange is the best, in my opinion? Now, that determines which coins you might buy. And for a little bit of history, when I started, my first exchange I used was Robinhood. Robinhood was pretty good. It had a few different coins that it offered, and it allowed me to get in, and it could show me the different places that I bought, and it gave me an average price of when I was buying in, which was very handy, and then told me what my total profit was when I sold and where I sold. Also, it allows you to put in a sell order so that if it hits your target while you're sleeping, it automatically sells you out of your position, which can be very handy because then you don't have to think about selling, which is some of the mistakes I made sometimes. Sometimes you get caught up in the FOMO, and we'll talk about that too. You don't want to buy during the greed time, and you don't want to sell during the fear time. You want to buy when people are fearful and sell when people are greedy. And believe it or not, they actually have a scale in crypto. It's called the fear and greed scale. But we'll talk more about that. So Robinhood is a good place to go. They have a few different coins that you can buy there. And you can start out with like $1, so you don't have to have a lot of money to get started and to practice. And you can buy something smaller on there like Dogecoin, which trades around 5 or 6 cents right now. So just to get your feet wet in crypto and kind of learn how things work. I will tell you later in the video, if you stick around, what I think is going to be the day that the market hits the top of the bull run next year, just like we had here where we hit the 69,000. I'm going to tell you the very day that we're going to hit the top next time. The top we talked about yesterday, and that was between about 150 and 229 at the highest. And that will tell you about what day I think that's going to happen. So, exchanges. As you can see right now, I'm using something called TradingView. This is free, and so that's why I get all these ads that are popping up all the time. But this is also a good software to use. You can do charts, you can do drawings, you can do Fibonacci's. You can draw your support and resistance and your trend lines. Like here's the trend line from the top of the last market down until we broke this trend. You can see we touched it here, and this is classic, and then we fell. And then we finally bottomed out, and what you got here is volume. So when you see these volume spikes, you know you're getting close to a bottom or a top. Lots of volume coming in here, and so we could be sure that this area was a top. Now you didn't get that same signature for this top because just not a lot of volume came in, but you did have signs that it was a double top situation. Like you had bearish divergence here. You had a higher high, but on the RSI down here, you had a lower low. So that is bearish divergence, and when you see that, sometimes that can mean things are changing. The trend is changing. So back to the exchanges, we've got Robinhood, and then the next exchange we'll talk about is Coinbase. Coinbase, when I got in, had about 5 different coins to choose from. Now they have probably over 200. And what's interesting about Coinbase is it's going to be used potentially in the spot Bitcoin ETF for BlackRock if BlackRock gets approved. So that's why I think Coinbase is a good one. You can also protect your money with insurance through them. And a while ago, they did lending against your crypto, so you wouldn't actually have to sell it. You could borrow against it, which I did some of that. And then, because when you sell, you have to pay taxes, and that's another thing we can talk about in the future. So Coinbase. Binance US, I used it for a little while, but right now Binance is a little shaky, so I would not recommend that exchange. Crypto.com, you've probably seen this one advertised during the Super Bowl or during other times like that. I have used that exchange. I do use that exchange. That exchange is used for me for meme coins a lot of the time. So I buy my meme coins a lot through Crypto.com because you can get a lot of smaller coins at that aren't available on some other exchanges. And then eToro, that's another one where you don't really know how to trade. You can just put some money in and you can click on copy trader and you'll be able to copy somebody who does know what they're doing and just do what they do. So, and you may not have as much money as they have, but they will show you kind of what's going on, and you will trade kind of like they trade. There's other things you could do. You can mine cryptocurrency. We can talk about that another time, or if you have any questions on how to do that, I have an app on my phone. It's called Pi. And I can send you that information if you would like. Then there's different wallets that you can also use on top of the exchanges, but we'll go over wallets another time. So to finish up for today, I told you that we were going to talk about what I think the top is for the next bull market, that new exciting time when we get past the halving. So let's just look at history. History doesn't always repeat, but it rhymes. So we had the $20,000 top. We came down. We broke the trend line, kind of like we have here. And then after we broke the trend line, we went up. And you can see, well, you can't exactly see, but the Fibonacci retracement last time was 6.18, almost to the very T, which took us to about 14,000. And then it went back down from there. We had the world panic here back in 2021 or March of 2020. And everything dumped, but this was the perfect position to get in to Bitcoin. You basically held this 200 period moving average, and what we're looking at here is a weekly candle. So these candles represent a week. So then it went up from here until we topped out here, but we finally topped out at 69,000 November 10th of 2021. So now fast forward to today. How do we determine what that top's going to be? Well, Bitcoin kind of works like clockwork. Once we break out, we come back sometimes, retest the trend line, and then we are off to the races. Once we break the 618, which this time for us, last time was 14,000. This time, the 618 and the 786 is 48 to 57. So once we break through that level and reconfirm it as support, right here, this was the second top on the way down. The last chance to get out before things got bloody. So once we get past that point and turn it into support, sometime after the halving next year, we will start our run up. And then you break the all-time high, you have a major run up, and when you have the major run up, you get to the top, and I am going to say that the top is going to be October 17 of 2025. That's right. October 17, 2025, on or before, will be the top of the next Bitcoin market. At that point, you'll want to start selling, taking your profits and selling off your coins. You may get a couple of weeks later afterwards where the altcoins will peak out and then you sell them. Otherwise, they'll drop 95% in value. Bitcoin here dropped all the way down 75% in value from the top to the bottom. So you definitely want to take profits so you're ready to accumulate during the next bear market, and then you can buy back in when things are rough and people are fearful, and sell when people are greedy. So to recap, October 17 of 2025, the top of the next bull market. You heard it here first. Have a great day.